In this episode, we get Project Fairmont out of the garage, and I take you all the way up to startup. Welcome to the channel. My name is Grant Tommy. This is Straight 6 Fan, helping you build your hot rod and your confidence without a ton of money. And as you may know, well, I said I wasn't going to do another Project Fairmont episode until I got it running. Well, I'll leave that for the end of the episode to figure out if I lived up to my word or if I'm pulling your leg. Yeah, I'll let you be the judge. So anyway, but before we do that, I took it upon myself to take Instagram story-like shots of all the work I've done kind of leading up to this point. And so this is spanned out over the course of, I don't know, at least 3 different work days, maybe more. So with that, let's just rewind the clock a little bit and bring you guys up to speed. Saturday, August 15th, and the new used radiator passing the pressure test a lot better than the last one. I do still have a tiny leak at the heater bypass hose, but I think it's by and large due to this old style clamp. So I can live with that. We will switch that clamp style out and we should be good. So I got a second stock Fairmont hanger, exhaust hanger, kind of shaped the way I want it to work up with the EFI H-pipe. And so now slide this back in. I'm going to mark this side, which goes on the exhaust pipe, and so that way when I take the H-pipe back off, I'll know where to grind, start cleaning it up, so we can tack weld it. As you saw in my last episode, I was talking about welding plugs in here for the O2 sensor spots, but a little tip from an Instagram follower basically said all 2 O2 sensors have the same thread pitch. Found this pair on Amazon for under $6, so we're going this route. Even after letting the JB weld cure overnight, these did not withstand the pressure of hanging by JB weld as I tried to back this out of the hangers. Now, while it's not ideal, it's not the end of the world because I can at least see where it sheared off of the JB weld, so I kind of know how to position these to tack weld them. So that's good. Because the biggest thing I was trying to fight is, the 3 dimensions. This thing kind of rotates away from the pipe, and so that's what was hard. It's not like I could just mark it like this because, I might get that off a little bit. So anyway, again, the JB weld I think is going to work well enough for us to tack weld. So I know that no matter what, if I keep these cats or I don't, I'm definitely cutting right here because I'm going to try to flip this cat, and I'm cutting right here, so I'm cutting that out. So I have some section of pipe to do practice welding on to make sure I get my heat settings right on the TIG welder. Okay, before I get all the way through here, I got to thinking, I think this little air connector is gonna hold this together well enough, but I'm afraid if it folds in on itself. So I'm gonna just stick weld, knowing that these cats are going out. I'm gonna stick weld this tube steel to both of them, because if we lose the factory geometry, we're in trouble. Okay, real quick, we have it off, and we had thought maybe we could just flip the cat like so and it would work out, but it's gonna make like a 90-degree intersection with the other pipe, and I don't like that for flow. So we're gonna delete both of these cats, which means we'll probably delete this, which means we'll delete the smog pump. So as it lays out, then we'll just run a single pipe. It's gonna hit that about a 30 or 60-degree angle, and then that, as soon as I hit that Y there, as soon as I can find the best round spot of the 2 1/4, I'll put a 2 1/4 to 2 1/2 inch, I guess a reducer in the reverse direction, and then that goes into the Flowmaster, and then I'm gonna have an exhaust shop. Bend up a tailpipe section, just like the stock one, but in 2 1/2 inch. Got the hangers welded in, at least on one side. I gotta now come back here on the JB weld side and use like a deburring tool or I should say burring bit, grind this out, and then clean it up nice and well for prepping it for TIG welding, and then do this side. Then let's get to making that Y pipe. This morning I went to O'Reilly's. We got a new little fitting, got a bolt extractor. We got that old one I sheared off out, and we got a new fitting in. So we are basically ready to start this thing. Well, it is now the Sunday of Labor Day weekend, and I've got about 2.5 steps backwards I've got to take before I can go forward with that ceremonial first start. And I also have an update on the exhaust system to show you guys hopefully later in this episode. But first, let me bring you closer to show you those 2.5 steps. I say 2.5 steps because, well, two of the things are kind of related. I realized I just plopped the distributor in just as is previously, and so I need to get cylinder number 1 to top dead center, and I've got the rotor now pointed towards cylinder number 1 on the cap, and so got to pop that back in as is when I get that to top dead center. And the other thing I got to do is I got to pull the carburetor off once again because I did not know this at the time, but I got to look at basically how my transfer slots are relative to my throttle blades. So I want to pull that, make sure I have that set at the recommended kind of base level before we supply her out. So thanks to my meeting with Frank Finelli while on vacation, as well as a timely video by Paul's Speed Shop, whose video I'll link in an info card above. This is what I mean by transfer slots. Let's see if I can get that to focus. So if you see those long skinny things, you want that to be, instead of a rectilinear shape like it is, basically as tall as it is wide. So I need to adjust my throttle blades here in order that that's more of a square shape. So that's what I'm going to do. Now that that's done, we can throw it back on the car. I went ahead and yanked my valve cover here on the driver's side so I can watch intake valve on cylinder number 1 to help confirm my assumptions. That will be probably placing my thumb over the hole of the spark plug, cylinder number 1, to help feel air. So I know it's only compression stroke, but yeah, just figured this visual confirmation would help as well. Alright, so that took way incredibly too long for what it was. Just one of those days. First, when I was fighting the distributor, getting that into seat, right? So I was like, okay, well, I'll pick off some more low-hanging fruit after I reinstalled the carburetor, and so then I was going to put the valve cover back on. Well, then my socket fell between the radiator and the radiator core support, and then I noticed when I had started to tighten down the valve covers, well, there was a wire that I had sandwiched under there, so then I had to remove those, and I don't know, probably spent an hour and a half just to get the distributor set back in amidst those other two things I just explained. But we have rolled the car into the driveway. I think we're ready to give it a go for a startup. So I have a towel ready to go to put out any flames. Have the hood popped. We did fill the bowl of the carburetor with a little bit of gas, so you shouldn't have to pump the accelerator too terribly much. And yeah, I guess wish me luck. So as you saw there, I didn't really get it to start up. So I'm really just at that point where I need help. I need a second person, someone with more skill, more experience to coach me along. And just a second set of eyes, like for instance, I have this, you know, one of the things I worry, you probably saw the fuel squirt up out of the carburetor. So I know fuel's making it to the carburetor. I don't know if the fuel's making it past the carburetor. I don't know. But the next thing, of course, is either got fuel or spark issues. And I bought one of these spark tester, inline spark testers. Well, I couldn't sit in the driver's seat and crank it over, and it wasn't dark enough out to see if this was lighting up. Watching through my phone app of my DJI Osmo Action Cam. So, you know, as you may recall from a couple episodes back, and I'll leave Finn and Picard up over here to that episode, I did new spark plug wire boots, and so, you know, maybe I did those wrong, and so maybe I'm not getting current actually to the spark plugs. I don't know. Again, this is where I need just a second set of hands. But earlier in the episode I did promise an exhaust update, so let me show you that. Well, if you watch Scott's Speed Shop, you may know of a guy by the name of Rob from Jegs. And well, he is now my guy too. Rob's my guy. So he hooked me up. I got some 2 1/4 inch just straight pipe. So that's gonna just work out fantastic. Like, just, it's gonna make my wide pipe just the way I was hoping it to. So we got that. Then we got a 2 1/4 to a 2 1/2, which will go right here. So that'll be awesome, because we'll do 2 1/2 from that point back after the Y. And then, well, hate to do this to you, Rob. This is more on me, not on you. But when I was ordering what was 120 degree bend, that's this, I thought I was ordering $120 degrees like this, which is what I was gonna use for the catalytic converters up here. Now, again, this is on me because I didn't look at pictures to see what I was actually ordering. So I guess what they're considering 120 degrees is like, if this is 90, well, then that's where the degree comes from, not the inside radius. But that's okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this in half, and I may still wind up ordering, well, I guess what it would be then are 30 degree bends, not 90 plus 30 degrees. But I'm going to cut this in half because, well, that would, you know, if I took the 2 ends and I kind of put them on end, I can make exactly what I want. It'll make it, turn this into more of an S shape. Also, it's going to be good for me to use this as a practice piece. I've never TIG welded exhaust piping, so if for nothing else, I'm going to keep one of them bagged up in case I decide, okay, no, I'm just going to go buy 30 degree bends, but I'm going to keep one of these as a practice piece anyway, to hone my skills. So that's where we stand on the exhaust. This Labor Day weekend did not go exactly the way I wanted it to, but just kind of exhausted from vacation, so I didn't get as ambitious or as crazy as I wanted. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. At the very least, I can now clean out this side of the garage since I pushed the Fairmont out. So I think I'll leave the Fairmont out in the September sky here, since hail's not an issue this time of year. But yeah, it'll feel good to restore some order to this side of the garage. And then I'm just going to have to start burning up the phone lines, figuring out who can lend a hand and help me get this thing started, fired up, whatever. So anyway, that'll do it for this episode. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thanks for understanding my need for a break. That's going to do it for this episode. Until next time, peace out. Man, it's a lot easier to put tools away this way.